And you are watching the Unrivaled Weekly Preview Show ahead of Penn State and Illinois coming up Saturday at noon in Champaign to open up Big Ten play. Penn State 2-0 after home victories over West Virginia and Delaware. Brian Tripp, delighted to be back with you here on this Wednesday evening ahead of the Nittany Lions opener coming up against the Illini to open Big Ten play. Again, a 12 noon Eastern time kickoff. It's airing on Fox. Kickoff 11 a.m. Central. Destiny Sanchez is going to join us later on from the Lasch Football Building. On the patio tonight, we're going to be joined by Tyler Wharton and Dominic DeLuca on our show. We'll also talk some soccer tonight. Big weekend coming up for the Penn State men's and women's soccer team. But there's our matchup. 7th-ranked Penn State taking on the Illini. The first meeting since 2021 and the first meeting in Champaign since 2018. Here's head coach James Franklin.
Yeah, we'll see how it all plays out. We'll see how it all plays out. I'm not sure. I can't really speak on it yet.
How have those guys handled the absence? I know they were probably all excited to play football this year, to watch the first 120 minutes of the season. How have they dealt with that?
Amin, I've been very impressed with his maturity and growth over the last couple of years. He's been really good. Hardy, I would say the same thing. And who was the other one?
Keziah.
Yeah, Keziah's had some bumps and bruises as well that have factored into that too. But yeah, all three of them have handled it well so far.
James, at what point will you make decisions on the 74? And are there yellows that you know will definitely go?
Yeah, so typically we announce those on Thursday, even to the players. They don't even completely know yet because those last 2 or 3 spots are based on practice and how practice goes. And obviously if somebody tweaks something, then we gotta make some moves and make some changes. So that's usually pretty fluid until Thursday morning after the staff meeting, typically.
Can you speak to the value of taking yellows, which you've done in the past, to getting those guys on the road, and why do you do that when you do it?
Yeah, we typically try to rotate through that all those guys will get that travel experience. So the first time that they're doing it isn't the first time they're playing in a game, that they kind of understand what the expectations are. So whether it's a home game travel to stay at the hotel or whether it's on the road and get the full experience, we try to rotate through when we can. To allow all those guys, especially the guys that we think are going to have a chance to really factor in for us next year.
James, how do Nick and Katron complement each other, differ in their skill sets, and how challenging do you think it is for opposing defenses to have to prepare for both of them?
Yeah, I think they have complementary skill sets. I think the thing that's nice though is they're both big backs, which allows them both to do a lot of things. That's why that short yardage goal line package is so effective for us, because both of them are 220-pound plus. They'll both block, they'll both carry, they both can run for hard yards inside. They both showed ability to make people miss and get on the perimeter. I think if you look at their ability to be explosive, I think they're really good complementary pieces. That we can do a lot of different things with, which I think that's what makes it so exciting as an offensive coordinator, to be able to work with those two guys and call a game with those two guys. And I would actually say, I said to Jaywan today that it looks like Potts is just getting more comfortable within the offense, more comfortable with in terms of just kind of how we do things around here. And I see him practicing better and better and better. So we got 3 guys that we got a lot of confidence in, some young, exciting guys behind them. So, as a defensive coordinator, I guess to answer your question, that's the challenge. If you can put guys into categories, like we've talked about with tight ends in the past, where this guy's really a receiver, he's not a blocker, or this guy's a blocker and not a receiver, when you can do both as at the tight end position or as a running back, where you can get the tough yards inside, you can get on the perimeter and create some explosive plays. You're willing to block and run, and you got a body that you can match up in protection as well. That's where you become a challenging offense to defend and a challenging matchup.
A major conversation after Michigan last year was getting bigger in the trenches. Ahead of Big Ten play this year, where would you kind of assess where you guys are in the trenches?
Yeah, I think we've gotten bigger. I think we've talked about this multiple times. I think I think Hakeem was like 270 last year. He's like 285. Same with Zane. He was like 275. He's like 285 now. So I think there are some examples of guys that have gotten bigger. Same thing on the offensive line. So I think we've gotten bigger. We've talked about this a decent amount.
James, how would you
Is there
say
a difference in opening on the road in the Big Ten in Week 3 than it was the last 2 years as your season opener?
I'm not sure. We're just experts of opening on the road, whether it's the first game, the second game, the third game, the fourth game. Not only in my 10 years, but I think over the last 15 years, we're experts. I think we're going to put an off-season clinic on how to open in the Big Ten.
James, how would you say Liam's been doing in his role in the offense, and how have you seen him kind of evolve as a leader since he got to Penn State now that he's in year 3?
I think he learned a lot from his brother's experience. It's kind of like having, it's kind of like having an older brother who played in the NFL or an older brother who played major college football. There's value in that, and then even more so when the guy did it at the same school and you were able to go through the process with him and understand the culture and the expectations. So in some ways it's like, a coach's kid that just is way ahead of the curve compared to most people because they've just been around it pretty much his whole life. I remember Liam coming to camp here as a quarterback, I think in 9th grade, if I remember correctly. So he's been around for a long time, and he's a guy that I think the coaching staff and the players feel like they can depend on, that he can make plays, that he's consistent. He's done a really good job, I think, over the last year of taking care of his body, because in the past I think that's been a little thing that's kind of held him up. He's had some kind of nagging injuries that have happened to him, but he's just doing a much better job of all the things you have to do to be a consistent football player. And I think he's going to have a big year for us. I think he's going to have some breakout games and things like that. But we have a lot of confidence in him and a lot of belief in him.
We haven't seen a field goal attempt here in the last week plus at this point.
Last game?
Well, you guys had extra points, but we didn't see a field goal in the game.
I know, but we haven't seen a field goal last game.
Yeah. So
You started off like it was like a long period of time.
It's a week plus,
Yeah,
whatever.
it's like another one of these questions. Okay, go ahead.
No. So I'm just saying we haven't seen one. So how has your confidence changed in practice? Has it? What have you seen on the practice field from both of those guys?
It's good. It's good. It's been a week. It's been good. They've kicked well.
James, with Adisa as one of your leaders, how has his role made an impact on this team?
Yeah, Adisa has been great. He really has been since he's arrived on campus. He's a very mature guy. I think you guys know kind of his background with his family, and he just came in very mature, very prepared, very steady. And I've been impressed with him. He just continues to develop as a football player. He's had some injuries he's had to overcome. Obviously, he was voted as a captain, so he's universally respected. And I think as this year goes on, you're going to see him continue to get more production and make more plays for, especially depending on the offenses we play.
Coach Lincoln, you're number 1 in offensive both yards and touchdowns. What do you think of that heading into this match?
Yeah, I think, the stats, I think, are nice. I think they matter at the end of the season. I don't think they really matter at the beginning of the season because the schedules are so different. But obviously, we're doing some good things. We're balanced right now on both the run game and the pass game in terms of the ability to do it. We're able to get the ball in the end zone. We're efficient, staying on schedule, and we were better last week on third down. So we're doing some nice things, but I don't get caught up. We don't get caught up a whole lot in stats early in the season, just like rankings early in the season.
James, you're through 2 games with Mike up in the booth calling the offense. How's that communication been? How do you feel the operation has done through these first 2 games?
I think that's the reason for the stats.
Yeah.
No, I'm just. I think it's been good. I said before, I think it's clearly the better place to call the game. You can see it better. You're removed from the emotion. I think Danny O'Brien's done a good job on the sideline as well. That's helped. But I think so far so good, and we've had to iron out a few kinks, that have happened, whether it's been with personnel or substitutions or some things that we got to get ironed out, in terms of just a little bit of the differences on the sideline. But I think it's been good, and I think he's been comfortable with it as well. And as long as we continue to communicate well and score the points that we're scoring and get the yards that we're getting, then obviously I think it's been a good decision for Penn State.
James, what's the progress report on Tony Rojas? We spent so much time discussing him in the spring. How has that kind of carried over here a couple games into his career?
Yeah, I think he's playing well. He had some flash plays last week that were impressive. I think the reps that he's also getting on special teams is valuable as well. I think those guys that are able to play and get offense or defensive reps as well as special teams, there's a ton of value. That's where sometimes with the offensive linemen that are playing, it's good, but they don't have as many opportunities on special teams. So guys like a linebacker who's able to start on multiple special teams units and get some defensive reps, I think it really, encourages and helps their maturation process. But he's doing some really good things. I think you'll see his role continue to grow as the season goes on. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
So that's Penn State football head coach James Franklin here on this Wednesday ahead of our matchup. 7th-ranked Penn State opening up Big Ten play on the road at Illinois, as he referenced. The 8th straight season, 13th time in the last 14 years that Penn State opens Big Ten play on the road. Illinois opened their season with a 30-28 win over Toledo and then lost at Kansas 34-23 on Friday. So they are 1-1, Penn State 2-0, the 27th all-time meeting with Penn State winning 6 of the last 8. Let's dive into this matchup further with our players to watch for this week's game. And first for Penn State, quarterback Drew Aller, 43 of 55 on the year, 6th nationally with that 78% completion percentage, 325 yards. You've seen some of the big plays here in the opener at night, at home, at Beaver Stadium, 3 touchdowns against West Virginia. Followed that up, 22 of 26, 204 yards and a touchdown against Delaware. Penn State's offense now 30 or more points in 9 straight games. That's the longest active streak in the country. Aller making his first career road start, but remember, his first career appearance came in relief of Sean Clifford on the road at night in prime time to open up the season at Purdue last season. So not just Aller, obviously the great running back tandem of Nicholas Singleton and Katron Allen, 4 combined touchdowns against Delaware. Singleton, 12 carries, 47 yards. He found Pater 3 times. Here he's breaking one off against West Virginia in the opener. Katron Allen eclipsed 100 yards. He had 103 yards on 19 carries and a touchdown of his own against Delaware. There he is against West Virginia. Adding in both those games so far this season, the Penn State rushing attack, 461 total yards with 8 touchdowns on the ground. This has been a very balanced Penn State offense so far. On the defensive side of the football, Illinois is always really good in the trenches, offensive line, defensive line. Penn State's defensive line against a very dangerous dual-threat quarterback. Chop Robinson and the defensive ends really deep, really talented, that D-line, but that's where the focus is for Penn State. Robinson, 1 tackle for loss this season, preseason second-team All-American with 7.5 career sacks, is going to lead that deep unit against Illinois' starting front 5. Of course, we saw how big Illinois went against Penn State last time they played here at Beaver Stadium a couple of years ago. And as I mentioned, that dual-threat quarterback, as we talk about Illinois and their players to watch, Luke Altmaier, sophomore, 68.5% completion percentage, has thrown 3 picks, has 3 touchdowns passing, but also a team-leading 139 rushing yards and 2 touchdowns. He's very dangerous on the ground. Also, Isaiah Williams, his top target on the outside, 11 receptions, 150 yards this season in 2 games. Then his career number is outstanding. Talk about in the trenches, Illinois is really good, especially at D-tackle, one of the better D-tackle combinations in the Big Ten with Newton and Randolph Jr. are players to watch for Illinois. So those are our players to watch going into this weekend's matchup in Champaign. It is a noon kickoff. That means it's an 11 a.m. Central kickoff. And for more on this matchup, Destiny Sanchez is live on the patio at the Lasch Football Building tonight, and she is joined by Penn State tight end Tyler Warren. Destiny?
Thanks, Trip. I'm here with tight end Tyler Warren here on the Unrivaled weekly game preview show. You had yourself a touchdown on Saturday against Delaware late in the second quarter, 37 yards on 6 total receptions. How did you feel after your performance on Saturday?
Yeah, I think just the offense as a whole has been doing really good. You know, having Drew getting the first 2 games under his belt's been really good for our offense as a whole, and just the run game coming together opens up the pass game. Obviously, in week 2, it opened up for us a little bit more. So I think we're doing really good as an offense right now.
Speaking of Drew, how have you been able to develop chemistry with a new starting quarterback this year?
Yeah, I think it started in the winter, right after the Rose Bowl, just getting as many reps with him as we can, and then through spring, and then through camp, and now getting game reps with him from everybody, wide receivers and the tight ends. Just been really good, and I think it will keep building on it.
There's a few new dynamics with the offense, new starting quarterback. Coach Yurshich is up in the box now. How has these game operations developed, and how has that played out on the field? How do you like it?
Yeah, I think it's really no different. It's just getting used to it, which we had scrimmages in the off season with him up in the box. So just the more reps we get of it and practicing as an offense, we'll keep getting better with that.
Now, Ty Howell, the tight ends coach, what makes him special as a coach? He's a Penn State football letterman. How has he impacted the Aces?
Yeah, I think his passion just overall, like you said, he's a letterman. So the love he has for this school and this sport is really like no other I've seen. And I think he rubs off on me and the other tight ends. Just bringing that energy every day that he has is really helpful as a player to be able to have somebody like that to play for every day.
Now, Penn State is known for using their tight ends. What does the Penn State offense allow the tight ends to do?
I think it's really just we do whatever's needed that week based off the game plan, whether it's catching 20 passes in a game or run blocking every time. We're going to do whatever we can to make the offense go as good as it can, and that's what we're focused on as a room.
Now, it's the first road game of the season. Bring me through your pregame routine. Do you have any superstitions? Do you have anything that you have to do before the game?
I really try not to make it something special because it kind of just messes with me more if I think about it too much. So I try and just go with the flow, and then once it's game time, it's time to play, and I lock in then. But I try and just kind of stay level-headed the whole day.
Seems like it's been working. Tyler, thanks for joining me today.
Thank you.
Back to you, Trip. Back to you, Trip.
Yeah, Destiny Tyler, thank you very much. A gorgeous, absolutely perfect night out there on the patio at the Lasch Football Building here inside our studio. At Beaver Stadium, you see the 2 home games already in the books, West Virginia and Delaware. Penn State on the road for the first time to open up Big Ten play at Illinois. That's coming up at noon on Saturday, then back at home for Iowa. Trying to go 1-0 this week on the road, get to 3-0 on the season, and then the whiteout coming up against the Illini. Here is our game week schedule. We kick it off with our Unrivaled weekly game preview show, as we do every Wednesday. Thanks for joining us. If you're watching tonight, drop a line in the comments. Let us know where you're watching from, what you're looking forward to this weekend. We love to hear from you. We want to know who's watching the show. Really appreciate you tuning in wherever you're tuning in tonight. Thursday, the Penn State Coaches Show featuring James Franklin, presented by Pepsi at the field. And then Saturday on the road, maybe a little bit calmer, right? The schedule, the Tailgate Show on the radio kickoff. And of course, behind the mic, you can watch Steve and Jack on the call as well. And then the post-game show on the Penn State Sports Network as well. So that is our schedule. That is coming up for game day and, of course, this game week, which is very busy. It's been a busy day at the Lasch Football Building already. And Destiny, now we talked the offensive side of the football with Tyler Warren, who had a touchdown on Saturday against Delaware. The man she's with now plays on defense. He also had a touchdown, linebacker Dom DeLuca. Destiny?
You said it, Trip. I'm here with linebacker and captain Dom DeLuca. Dom, before we get to Illinois, we have to talk about it. Your pick 6 on Saturday. At first, looking at it, you saw you had a pass breakup, possibly could get it. We're seeing it right here. Just missed it, but then you had a second chance to get the 26-yard interception in the third quarter. Talk me through it. Walk me through it. How did that feel?
Yeah, I'm still going to have nightmares about that first one still. But that second one, we reviewed that play all week, and Coach Diaz was yelling to me from the sidelines, and I knew how to get to the flat, and play came, and I'm just happy I made the play. My D-line got pressure to the quarterback, and I was able to do that.
Coach Franklin on Tuesday was harping on situational football. How have you guys implemented that into practice this week?
We do a bunch of situations every day to start practice, and we do that to prepare for times in the field. Today was 2 minute, and just those little times show up in game time all the time.
Your role as a linebacker, it forces you to make quick decisions. How do you utilize game film, week by week to go against these really highly competitive opponents?
All the linebackers always break down the formations and backfield sets. So that's really one big thing for us, and just seeing what plays come from certain formations. So that's for what we do.
Last week, I had the chance to chat with Carl Nassib. He was a run-on on Penn State, eventually then became a linebacker in the NFL for 7 years. There's been many run-ons that come through the Penn State program and compete heavily here at Penn State and in the NFL. How do those individuals influence you with your time here at Penn State?
I mean, growing up watching Penn State, I was a big fan of Jan Johnson and Carl Nassib, watching them growing up. I just knew once I got my feet on campus, I would make a name for myself and work hard and just following in the footsteps of those other legends.
Now we're here at LBU. You're from Pennsylvania. What do those two things mean to you?
It means everything. I mean, growing up a Penn State fan, I wore Dan Connor's jersey to picture day in kindergarten. So now he's my coach, and I just felt like it was just meant to be. And being here at LBU, it's a great feeling.
Now we're headed on the road for the first time this year. 11 a.m. start Central Time. Is there anything different that goes on pregame or any preparation to a road game like that?
No, not really. I mean, it's gonna be the same time for us. Noon kickoff here, so it'll still be like the same time for us as that. But just reviewing our tip sheets is one big thing we do before game. So that's what we're gonna do.
Manny Diaz, the defensive coordinator and linebacker coach, is known for his aggressive and defensive styles. How has been playing in that type of defense been like for you?
I mean, it's great. I mean, he always blitzes being aggressive, and that's just how he treats us. And he always wants killers on the field, and that's what he preaches all the time. And we just try to live up to the standard for him.
Dom, best of luck this weekend at Illinois. Thanks for chatting with me today.
Thank you.
Back to you, Trip.
Destiny, Dom, thanks so much. Really appreciate it. Looking forward to seeing that Penn State defense on the field for the Big Ten opener coming up against Illinois on Saturday. A very busy week of Penn State athletics outside of Penn State football. I mean, look at this here. The women's soccer team, field hockey, men's soccer, women's volleyball. You know, a lot of these teams either are ranked now or have been ranked. I think everyone's trying to compete for a national championship, but you see this very busy schedule. Women's soccer, Friday, Maryland, 6 p.m. This is their senior night early in the year. They're opening up Big Ten play. Rutgers, field hockey, that is a top 15 matchup, opening Big Ten play. Men's soccer, opening Big Ten play on the road. Women's volleyball, one last tune-up before Big Ten play. Women's golf, their only home event of the year. Get out there to the Penn State golf courses. And women's tennis also competing on the road this weekend as well. So a very, very busy week of Penn State athletics. And as always, a lot of our home action you can catch with our busy Big Ten Plus crew. As you see that matchup, 10th-ranked Rutgers against 12th-ranked Penn State in field hockey. 6th-ranked Penn State women's soccer welcomes Maryland Friday at 6 o'clock. So it's 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock. Women's volleyball, 13th ranked women's volleyball, taking on UMBC. So that is what's coming up Friday. It's a busy weekend, and then that will actually carry over into early next week, Tuesday. The Penn State men's soccer team is at home for their annual Mac Brady match. Not only is it a special night because of that great special event, but check out these new jerseys for the very first time.
And here they are. I'm here with Peter Mangione and Chris Shakes. You guys are rocking the new jerseys now. What are you guys thinking? What were your first thoughts when you put those on?
It's amazing. I love it. Obviously, some cool features to it. Got the Penn State logo here. On the sleeve says "We Are Penn State." This is probably my favorite here. This is Pennsylvania right here, obviously, with the star in the middle for State College. So, yeah, I love it. Can't wait to debut them next week.
Chris, how are you liking them?
Yeah, I'm loving them as well. The keepers have both the pink and the black jersey, so you're going to see us rocking both of them during the season. So, yeah, we're super excited.
Yeah, the pink and black representing Penn State's original colors. Now, you guys have a matchup coming up in Columbus on Friday. What's been the emphasis this week to bounce back against the Buckeyes?
Yeah, obviously, we're super motivated because it's the start of Big Ten. So I think that's been just like the major point that we've harped on in training, because everyone's 0-0 in the Big Ten. So we want to, the goal is to go undefeated and win a championship like we did a couple years ago.
And back home at Jeffrey Field on Tuesday against Maryland for the Mac Brady match. Always a special night. How much are you looking forward to this match?
Yeah, I'm looking really forward to it. So is the guys. All the guys are pretty hype about it. The Mac Brady family is always there to support us. We're always grateful for them. And just supporting Mac Brady himself, a young child who had cancer, who wanted to be a Penn State goalkeeper. So we really just want to play the best we can and have a clean sheet just for him and for the Brady family.
Coach Cook has emphasized that the freshman class has really melded well into the culture of Penn State men's soccer. How do you guys feel that they've melded into the culture so far?
Yeah, they've been great. I've harped on it a lot. I've said it before. I think that they have great personalities off the field, but more importantly, they're super talented on the field. And I think it's just been a natural connection, honestly, since the summer with all of them. I'm so excited for the rest of the season with them. I mean, we could go down the list of all the names because there's so many talents there, but they're going to have so much success this year. And then for, the remainder of their Penn State's career, it's going to be exciting to watch.
And lastly, you guys are off to a great start to your season. What have you learned the most about your team so far?
I would say staying together. You know, obviously we had a bad result last Friday against Penn, but just not, breaking apart, just staying together, and we're gonna keep fighting through the hard times together, and then it's gonna make the great times even better. So that's what I would say.
Peter, Chris, thanks for joining me. I'm excited to watch you guys play in Big Ten matchup on Friday and to rock these jerseys on Tuesday. Thanks for being here.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Back to you, Trip.
Destiny, gentlemen. Those are some sharp-looking kits right there. Penn State will wear them again on Tuesday against Maryland. And then also on October 13th, a blackout at Jeffrey Field. Friday, October 13th against Northwestern. Can't wait to see those new kits rocking. They look great. Really appreciate Peter and Chris Shakes stopping by to debut those. Speaking of soccer, Penn State women's soccer, Erica Dombach winning her 300th career match earlier this season. She'll join head coach James Franklin tomorrow on the Penn State Coaches Show. It's presented by Pepsi, hosted by The Field, Burger and Tap. That kicks off our Penn State football coverage this week and also our Penn State women's soccer coverage. They have their big Big Ten opener coming up at 6 p.m. The 6th-ranked women's soccer team senior night honoring 7 seniors, 6-0-1 on the season. Erica Dombach will preview that matchup. Head coach James Franklin will preview the football game as well from The Field tomorrow night with the Penn State Coaches Show. Speaking of women's soccer, obviously Coach Dombach there. Kat Asman, their spectacular senior goalkeeper, is with Destiny Sanchez. She's had a busy night out there on the patio on this spectacular Wednesday night. Destiny, I know you want to get into some women's soccer as well with Kat.
Thanks, Trip. Yep, I'm here with Kat Asman, goalkeeper for Penn State women's soccer. Your squad has had a very successful season so far, and starting the season on an 8-game homestand, the 8th one being on Friday. What has been working well for the squad so far?
Honestly, we're taking it game by game. I think we have really looked at some of the past seasons and we understand that there is a lot of longevity to the season. And at the end of the day, we decided to shorten it up. And it's kind of like the football mentality that they have. It's 1-0 each game. And that's how we're doing it. We're kind of getting even more into tactics each game. We're understanding who our opponent is, how they play. We're adjusting the way that we need to adjust, but still maintaining Penn State soccer in every game. And I think that's been kind of the key to our success so far this season.
Out of the 7 games played this season, you've only allowed 1 goal to score out of the 19 that your teammates have scored for Penn State women's soccer. What has been working well in that goal cage for you?
It's our back line. It's just the commitment to defense this season. I think that every single shutout that we've had, it's been a whole entire team effort. It's a huge shout out to our entire back line. We've had some new faces in there. We've had some people have to step up with some things going on, and we've seen new faces and we've seen our old faces. But I think the entire team this season has just taken such a care and a passion to the fact that we get shutouts. And even the 1 goal that we allowed, it was like we went back and we watched it. We understood what happened. And in each game, I think it was Monmouth and West Virginia, like we felt that weight. We saw a 1 up on the scoreboard rather than a 0. And I think this season, that's what we're just kind of keying in on, is the idea that like we get shutouts. It's what we do.
Speaking of new faces and old faces, there's a little bit of a new group coming into Penn State women's soccer. How has that freshman class melded into Penn State women's soccer culture, and how's the camaraderie been so far?
They're awesome. The group of them they have so many different personalities. They've been such a boost to this entire team. I think that each year we bring in a freshman class and they bring in something so special. And we don't just look at the specialness that they bring on the field. It's also what they do off the field. And they've, just completely embraced themselves into our culture. It's been such an easy time grabbing them and just being able to kind of bring them on board. And they're so here for it. Their eyes and ears are just completely open. I think I would say that they spend the most time on the field, extra minutes before practice, extra minutes after practice, asking questions, raising their hand and film, everything like that. They have been just on top of it in every aspect. And also with our team culture, just fully embracing it.
Like we said earlier, you end your homestand on Friday against Maryland, the senior game. How have you liked playing at home for the first few games of the season? And are there any different preparations for road games when those start up?
I think as far as the fact that we've been at home so much, it's been such a huge shout out to our coaching staff and what they've done and what they've put together. That was all just huge, shout out to them and what they did for us. I think it's been awesome. We just get to be home. We get to have our family. We get to do what we need to do. And it's a different preparation. We get on the road and some different things are shown to us. We're not sleeping in our beds. We're not kind of around our things. And we take it game by game, like I said. And I think when we start to travel again, it'll be just that same mindset. It's what do we need to do? Prepping, I think, starting the week off, acknowledging that, we're not at home this week and how does that look different? And, I think honing in on those details and that's what we've been doing. And I would say there's a few differences, but at the end of the day, same goal, and we just go after it.
Well, Kat, thanks for joining me here tonight at the Lasch patio. I'm excited to watch you guys play on Friday.
I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Back to you, Trip.
Kat, Destiny, thanks so much. Destiny, hope you enjoyed it out there tonight. Great work all night long. Thanks so much. So that's Destiny Sanchez, Kat Asman out on the patio as we go into the Penn State Coaches Show. One reminder again, Erica Dombach and her team at home Friday to open up Big Ten play. Just heard from Kat. You can hear from the head coach, the legendary head coach tomorrow. What a duo. She kicks it off for head coach James Franklin. From the field, Burger and Tap, presented by Pepsi, 6 o'clock tomorrow night to continue our game week schedule and our game week coverage. Then the radio show, 10:30 a.m., brought to you by Wise on Saturday from Champaign. Steve Jones, Jack Ham have the call as always. The best in the business. That leads us to kick off at noon at Fox Big Noon this week, and the postgame show on the Penn State Sports Network as the Nittany Lions are on the road. When they return back home, 7:30 CBS, September 23rd. The game theme, the whiteout. Yes, the whiteout. Don't forget, Generations of Greatness, Homecoming, Military Appreciation, the Stripe Out, Senior Day, what has been a fantastic home slate so far. Over 110,000 for West Virginia, 108,000 for Delaware. Let's see that fan support at our other Penn State events this week, whether it's on campus or you have an opportunity. Maybe you're tuning in tonight from somewhere. Maybe you're tuning in from Columbus, Ohio, enemy territory, and you want to check out the men's soccer team. Wherever you're tuning in, support those Penn State athletics programs, wherever they may be, including here with this very, very busy weekend in Happy Valley. And of course, if you can't make it, you can watch on Big Ten Plus, Top 15 Showdown to kick off the field hockey Big Ten slate. 10th ranked Rutgers, 12th ranked Penn State Friday at 5. At 6 o'clock, that's when women's soccer kicks it off against Maryland. And then at 7 o'clock, UMBC and Penn State women's volleyball, 13th ranked in the country. Again, that all on Big Ten Plus. So a very busy week of Penn State athletics coming up, but of course, we're all looking forward to kickoff on Saturday at noon from Champaign. Penn State at 2-0 taking on Illinois. The Nittany Lions open up Big Ten play. Our thanks again to Destiny Sanchez. Great work tonight over at the Lasch Football Building out on the patio. And of course, Ross Woomer, who does an unbelievable job producing and directing our show every week. And we can't say thank you. We can't say goodbye without saying thank you to each of you watching at home as well. I'm Brian Tripp saying so long from Beaver Stadium. Thanks for tuning in to the Unrivaled weekly game preview show. We'll talk to you next time right here. Thanks for tuning in.